Top 10 richest countries in Africa. Africa is labeled one of the poorest continents in the world. Even though the continent has a significant number of nations with economies that are unstable, there are a number of nations whose economies can be said to be experiencing swift growth. You'll be watching a list of 10 richest countries in Africa based on their nominal GDP and strength of their economy. Number 10. Tanzania. Tanzania has a GDP of $61.032 billion. This country has maintained a relatively high economic growth over the last decade. Her economic growth in 2018 was however mixed, but her inflation rate was stable in the same year. The country's poverty rate has significantly declined, but the absolute number of poor citizens, which has not declined because of the high population growth rate, gives the illusion that the poverty rate is still high. Number 9. Ghana. Ghana has a GDP of $68.258 billion. The West Africa country expected a 7.4% growth in 2019, mainly to be driven by the industry sector, especially oil, gas, and mining. The agriculture sector was also expected to grow by 7.3% on the back of the government flagship programs in the sector, which will enhance performance in the crops subsector. Her industry's growth is expected to improve to 9.7%. Number 8. Ethiopia. Ethiopia's GDP is $90.968 billion. Ethiopia's economy experienced strong, broad-based growth averaging 10.3% a year between 2007 and 2017, compared to a regional average of 5.4%. The construction sector and services accounted for most of her economic growth, even though manufacturing and agriculture made a lower contribution. Number 7. Angola. Angola's GDP is $99.191 billion. For a nation whose economy is largely driven by the oil sector, Angola's economy is expected to grow at an average rate of 2.6% per year in the 2019 to 2023 period. Oil production and its supporting activities contribute about 50% of GDP, greater than 70% of government revenue, and over 90% of the country's exports. Number 6. Kenya. Kenya's GDP is $99.246 billion. Her short-term gross domestic product growth (GDP) expectedly rose by 5.1% in the last quarter of 2019, underpinning the recovery in agriculture, better business sentiment, and ease of political uncertainty. As of now, Kenya is the 6th richest nation in the continent of Africa. Number 5. Morocco. Morocco's GDP is $121.350 billion. Morocco experienced a slight economic retrogression in 2018 owing to the decline of agricultural value-added growth, which was the only partially compensated by the otherwise good performance of non-agricultural activities. Mining activities contributed the most to her economic growth apart from agriculture. Number 4. Algeria. Algeria's GDP is $183.687 billion. The People's Democratic Republic of Algeria has the 10th largest reserve of natural gas in the world and is the 6th largest gas exporter on the planet. Algeria's economy is dominated by its export trade in petroleum and natural gas. 1/3 of the country's gross domestic product (GDP) is contributed by its export trade activities. Number 3. Egypt. Egypt's GDP is $299.586 billion. Egypt's economic growth has been remarkable over the past few years, averaging 5.3% in 2017-18, a rate that didn't diminish in 2019. At the moment, Egypt is 3rd on the list of the richest countries in Africa based on nominal GDP. The Egyptian economy is mainly driven by the expansion in the gas resources, tourism, manufacturing, and construction. Number 2. South Africa. South Africa's GDP is $371.298 billion. Formerly the richest country in Africa based on the yardstick of GDP. South Africa has recently been dethroned by another country in West Africa. Number 1. Nigeria. Nigeria's GDP is $444.916 billion. Nigeria is not only the most populous country in Africa but also the richest based on nominal GDP. Petroleum products are the primary export of the country, accounting for more than 90% of her exports and wealth. The nation is often referred to as the Giant of Africa. These are the top 10 richest countries in Africa based on their nominal GDP. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe.